Hello, my name is Monica, and today I'm going to be addressing the problem-solving issue of illegal immigrants. This is to basically prove that this issue really requires the upholding of our immigration policy and realizing the importance of once we break one law for political agendas, for what I have researched and seen, then what about any other laws down the road that are going to be broken? There's going to be two sides that you will sit on. There'll be those group of people who are very frustrated and are angry and upset, as I find myself in, for the fact that I'm watching our own citizens losing their homes due to losing their jobs, or not being able to go back to school to better their education and better themselves due to the fact they cannot afford these student loans. We also have those group of us who've all experienced Obamacare. Many of us have either lost our insurance due to the fact that we couldn't pay that deductible, or there's a group of us who have just lost completely due to the fact that our employers could no longer pay. I could go on and on with the serious situations that we've all been affected with. In addition, the diseases, viruses, the swarming of flus. In addition, what about taxes? We all work really hard for our money, and at the end of the year, most of us stress and wonder and are afraid to do our taxes as to what will we owe. Then there's the other hand that gets a lovely penny back. But for those of us who don't and understand that there are illegal immigrants who are eligible for deductibles that we are not eligible for, at some point this really causes a diversity among us. So let me begin by stating that on September of 1620, 102 passengers boarded a merchant ship called the Mayflower. Out of those 102 individuals, there were pilgrims and there were separatists. And both of these groups were escaping the bondage from their own lands. And this was because they did not want to pledge allegiance to the Church of England. So a lot of what we're seeing today with illegal immigrants escaping the bondage of their own countries for many different reasons. This means that they basically broke away illegally by not pledging allegiance to these church, and if they were caught, they were severely punished and even some put to death. These groups craved the opportunity to start a new life and to seek a religious freedom. Our great nation began with a wide, diverse group of people who set out to desire their own ways of life, which is the exact same thing that we are all struggling today to do. It was in 1978 that the Federalist group required a 14-year residency in order to be classified as a citizen. Then it was then that we seen John Adams, who enacted the Alien Enemies and the Friends Act, that granted power to the president to basically deport anyone who possessed a threat to our great nation. Then it was in 1978 that different laws were applied and different things were passed, and this was due to the growing number of diseases, again, back then that were affecting citizens. It was the terrorist attack of September 11th of 2001 that this act was then strengthened. And from the beginning of the start of this nation, our forefathers realized that this was an important law to set into place. For the last 20 years, we have had a broken immigration policy system that seems to change, basically based upon specific individuals or for political agendas. Well, we've all heard get in line. Most have heard with the growing numbers that have flooded across, over our borders, whether they're escaping the bondages from their own countries or striving to live free or work to support their families. This is the same as the Pilgrims and the Separatists did. We must keep with our immigration policy and our laws in order to prevent more terrorism entering our land, disease spreading, or adding to our nation deficit. Higher drug smuggling we have seen, and it's just a need for striving to keep a proper order for all citizens, which makes it fair. Laws are extremely necessary for a given society. These laws define right and wrong behaviors among us. They protect us, and they endorse the rights of us as citizens. When the very foundation of our nation crumbles before our eyes, many of us will beg our officials to hear our cries and uphold the law. But that's what we're up against right now. The voices that are becoming overlooked are those who are, in my opinion, very brave and demanding accurate law, where all citizens are required to uphold, and that includes all citizens. Instead, the only voices who shriek out and are heard are those who charge us as racists for even bringing this into light. Again, as I mentioned, our great nation was established by nothing but immigrants. So that's not the issue here. Therefore, immigrants are not the debate. The debate is law. Living in a world that is full of financially burdened individuals does not interfere with the knowledge of compassion to help one another. We've seen this time and time again with devastation among our own lands, where we reach out to one another. So that compassion is not the issue. Those who break the laws or those who strive to complete each task by the book are the ones affected. The majority of people are at ease with the truth behind the struggles that immigrants do deal with hardships. But we're facing our own hardships on our own land too. What about the father who is a hardworking person and he lost his job and 3 months later, now he lost his house? But immigrants are given free housing, free education, free health, many deductibles on their taxes, or many who don't even have to pay their taxes. A nation that cannot secure its borders cannot secure its destiny or administer its law. And that was spoken by Senator Bill Frist. We can be very certain that illegal immigrants earn less than $24,000 a year, and it's probably much more less than that since we're finding that most Americans barely make that yearly also. So workers earn very little pay, which means they pay little tax. Since 2004, 90% of the immigrants have claimed to come in order to be grandfathered into the amnesty program. Free education, free health care, state aid, they're all put ahead of citizens for any form of state assistance. Less tax or they pay none at all. Laws are extremely necessary for a given society in order to keep order. These laws define right and wrong. They protect, again, as I have said, they endorse the rights of our citizens, and they effectively secure our borders. Preventing illegal aliens' employment or requiring our laws to be upheld, deny them health care, deny them state aid, and obstruct immigration laws from changing for any form of political agendas are what it's going to take to protect us as citizens. We must uphold to our immigration policy. We must demand to our politicians to strengthen our borders in order to protect us. With positive and negative impacts that illegal immigrants do deliver, we have not really been able to create a balance. Immigrants, they work cheaper, they work longer hours, they provide a wide diversity within our country, which we were founded on. Immigrants, they help build our economy. Again, these are not the issues. With illegal immigrants making headline news worldwide lately, it has created diversity among each other on how we feel and where we stand. 20% yearly in the United States, we have seen flooding of immigrants striving to enter and escape the bondage of their own countries. So this means in the last 50 years, it has doubled. 20% equals 38 million, which is only 13% of our population. Doesn't sound so bad on paper, but look at the devastation that we're facing among our nation today. We've all been affected, as I have said already, with Obamacare, which for most of us, like I said, we've either been dropped or we just can't meet that deductible. Most of our citizens' jobs have been given to immigrants in order for companies to receive their government funding. So, taxes, again, drugs, jobs, healthcare. Again, the debate isn't how we feel about immigrants since our country was founded on it. Our issue is we must uphold the law. If I speed, I am written a ticket and I must pay. If I run a red light, I'm given a ticket and I must pay. If I don't pay my taxes for 3 years in a row, oh, I'm gonna be punished quite severely and probably might face some time in prison. So again, it is not that we don't love and desire for this form of diversity among our land which it was created. It was that I'm begging for people to have their voices heard and reach out and demand that laws are upheld. Thank you. And again, I understand this is a heated issue. But again, please, we must require that our law is upheld.